Today we're talking about the Testaments. Welcome to Screens in Focus. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you're here to break down the Testaments with me. But I do want to pose our question of the day, okay? Right at the top. So, seeing Daisy's life before everything changes, her skating, her music, just being this normal teenager, made me think about how quickly time goes by. So, the question of the day is, what's something from your younger days that instantly takes you back? All right. So I want you to think about that, Sam. Friends out there, think about that. Okay. Because we're going to answer that later on in the episode. So we're going to be diving into the episode 1 through 3 today. And there are spoilers ahead. So know that. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back, please. All right. So my feeling on this, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel going into this because I love The Handmaid's Tale so much, but I didn't know if it was going to just be kind of the same as what we've seen, if it was going to be new. But by episode 3, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And it just completely changed it for me. And then that moment when we saw June, it wasn't just a spin-off. It felt like it was really connected. Did that moment land for you like that too, or were you already in from the very beginning?
I was already in. I was in for whether it was connected to The Handmaid's Tale or if it was its own thing. And I really had no idea what the show was going to be about. I tried to avoid everything and just I don't know, I just because of like it wasn't there wasn't a lot out there, so I was just like, well, I can just avoid it and it'll be fine. And I think that worked in my favor because I had no idea what to expect, and that's like a new thing for me. I normally like know a little bit about the show or I've read the book or something. So this was
Yeah.
like a fun little just a fun thing to do.
Yeah. I didn't know either. I didn't know what exactly. I knew it was going to be a coming of age, and I knew it was an extension of The Handmaid's Tale, but going into it, I didn't know. In fact, I saw that Chase Infinity plays Agnes, and she was in one battle after another. And so then that got me even more excited. I thought, oh my gosh, she was phenomenal in that movie. So I really can't wait to watch her in this. So yeah, so I think these 3 episodes were really great in digging into all that. So okay, in the first episode we see Agnes, and before we can get to Daisy and that outside world, I feel like we have to start with Agnes because she's really the entry point into Gilead and learning how it is at this point in their timeline. So what struck you initially about Agnes?
So what struck me about Agnes was how everything around her and her life just seems so normal. Like she wakes up, she gets her breakfast, she's completely 100% like used to Gilead and like it and the things that happen, like the customs and the things that she has to do, the stuff she has to wear. I thought it was nice that she was kind of like she is friends with the Marthas in her house, which adds to like the sense of like normalcy for her
Yeah.
because they're there all the time. Um, but throughout like, like her having to get ready for school and then like on the way to school, like if you look like at things in like a closer way, you'll see that it's not a perfect world, which we know that. But like she's looking out the window at one point and like in the car and there's a person who's like been hung, and that's just like everyday life, and she looks and then kind of just like she just you know doesn't pay attention to it, I guess, like that much. And there were people hanging in the park, things that just are so normal to like the girls in Gilead that it's so weird, like so just I don't even know, just gross. And how like when she's talking about like the Marthas in the house, how the new one whose name's Zilla doesn't have a tongue, and she's like, yeah, she doesn't have her tongue, da 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 da. Like it's like every day. She mentions it like it's like absolutely normal.
I missed that. I didn't
Mhm.
hear that part about the tongue.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, because I was feeling the same thing about how normal everything was, how and it's shocking to us. We're like, wait, you're somebody's hung and you're just looking at it. Your eyes, it just kind of glazes over your eyes. You have no reaction to it, right? Just
Mhm.
like it's every day. It was like very disturbing to see that.
And then like when they get to the school, that whole thing is wild. I just want to talk about the one scene, the scene that's so disturbing, and I can't stop thinking about it. I was shocked at how all of the girls all of a sudden turned into they were like all kinds of feral, like
Yeah.
yelling and screaming by his hand. But then you have to remember that they've all been conditioned to see that all of this is like a normal way of life and like it's necessary. Like he did bad, you got to do whatever. And I know we've seen some pretty like gnarly things in our
Hmm.
in the Handmaid's Tale, but this I don't specifically recall this specific kind of punishment. Like I know that they have like people have their tongues removed, people have their eyes removed, but that's always kind of done in, or at least from what I can remember in like the TV show, it was done in like a medical, like they were put under, like maybe it wasn't as traumatic. So I know that there are different ways to like handle things, and it's just, but it's like a ritualized thing, and it like an eye for an eye is like the way to go in Gilead, which we know, like it's not new, but it's kind of forgot about it, I think. I still think it's strange that like she looks forward to certain things like Agnes does. I'm not really sure she understands what like a lot of that means because she's still just a kid. Like she's looking forward to getting
Who's
her period.
she?
Agnes.
Oh. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I
Um.
want to respond to what you said about
Yeah.
that moment about
Mhm.
the hand. I can't stop thinking about that point either. I was so shocked at all of the girls' reactions. It reminded me of like gladiator times. It was so barbaric how people were rooting for violence to happen to another human being. And I thought,
Mhm.
where do you lose that? Like, how does that happen? Because if something happened to your loved one, you would be freaking out. So do they not see it to the girl to their left or their right, or do they, and they just accept it because they've been conditioned to accept it? I mean, I think that's what's so scary. And I just think that it's just a scary moment. It just makes me think about, even, did you watch the movie Civil War?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. Such a good movie, but
it's so good.
it's so scary because it feels too close to reality, and how people are out for themselves and they're willing to do whatever it takes for their survival, no
Mhm.
matter what. And that's how it feels here. So yeah, it was just, I agree with you. That moment has just stuck in my head with that guy, and just the way they made the girls feel like, don't you, he was caught pleasuring himself, and don't you be the reason that something like that happens. Like, don't you tempt men in that
Mhm.
way. I don't think that was their exact words, but that was what we were, you know,
Yeah.
getting
Put
from that.
they
So
put the blame on like the girls that are just doing their sewing and stuff.
yeah,
So gross. But no, it
yeah,
is like it's like really scary because it is, so close to like we're not too far off. um and that's just super scary, and like I
it
don't like
is.
thinking about it, but like here we are watching this TV show that
Puts it right front and center,
it
man.
really does. Um I thought it was interesting how Agnes is already kind of like hiding things. Like she's starting to compromise like in small ways. Like she tries to talk to Daisy about keeping her taking like the Lord's name in vain, like a secret from the aunt, so that way they don't get in trouble. I don't know if Daisy feels like she needs to like prove herself in some way because she is like a pearl and all that kind of stuff, but she was terrified uh of losing her tongue, and then what ended up happening I thought was kind of funny. Not that I would enjoy it if it was me, but I couldn't believe it was soap. Because you hear like when you're a kid you hear like, oh, you talk, like you kiss your mom
Yeah,
with that mouth, or I'm gonna wash your mouth out with soap.
yeah, yeah. At least it was soap.
Well, it was like a tallow and ash, I think is what Daisy said. She like
Oh,
heard that the Marthas, like that's how they make the soap.
oh.
Ugh, gross.
Well, do you think though that they changed the punishment? Because it almost felt like it was lightened because of Agnes in a way. I don't know, because they had her in that mask and they looked like they were going to do something to her or whatever it was. And then when she's all, she was there, she knows she was, and then she calls her out, and then they're both. I felt like the aunt, what's her name? Aunt, what's
Of
her,
Adala.
Vidala. Felt
Mm-hmm.
like she, I don't know. I just felt like there was a little bit of a shift. Like, oh, okay, she's involved too. We're going to punish you guys, but maybe it's not as much as just with this outsider. I don't know. I just got that
Yeah.
feeling.
Well,
Yeah.
Agnes is like the daughter of a high commander, I think. So like that's pretty like high up in the hierarchy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to know what you thought about, because this was really huge in Agnes's story. She gets her period,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship she has with her stepmom. And I'm wondering, how old is she? Because it's not her normal age, right? That normal women would have their period. It almost feels like, because this isn't a dystopian world, and because bearing children is not everyone is able to do, so maybe the periods come later in certain women's girls lives, and so because she's got to be older than that, right? She's got to be a
Like
upper
15.
age teen at
Mm-hmm.
least. I don't even know. Go ahead, what were you going to
No,
say?
I do think you're right. I do think that like your period can come whenever. Like yeah, maybe just like even like when you're like even like older, I
Right.
bet.
Yeah, but she gets her period. And at first, she seems, of course, concerned. I mean, your person, it's like, oh, this is happening. And even though her mother or her stepmother's so cold, I don't know, maybe it was her value that she has now. She seemed to be a little bit
She's
I don't
nicer.
even I didn't even want to say that, because she's not, but you know what I mean? She lightened up a little bit on her
Mm-hmm.
and told her what she needed to do. But just the shift in all of that, and how she had to ring that bell, and how all the attention's to her and everybody comes running out, and it's like something so glorious is happening. Yes, I understand now she can be fruitful, but it's just like now she has all these eyes on her, and the way her father and all those men look at her, and when she goes to the
Oh, the dentist.
dentist. That was a chilling moment. I
I couldn't
just,
I was shocked. I shouldn't be, but I
yes,
was.
exactly. Right. Because,
That's Becca's dad. That's our bestie's dad. I didn't think like
oh my God, I didn't
yeah.
know that.
Huh? I think so. I'm pretty sure that yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he asked her like whenever she's in the chair if she could hang out with his daughter more, so she doesn't. Cause I guess she's like a nervous, like or shy person, and she's not that way around Agnes. That's her dad.
Oh my God.
And I
Oh,
wonder because whenever Agnes tells everyone that she's got her period, she like Rebecca gets kind of like weird and like cold to the point where Agnes says like I'm sorry for like stealing your like like your year, and I wonder if Becca knows that her dad's a creep and she was afraid that that was going to happen
I
now.
love all the details that you're pointing out to me. I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because, oh my, that makes it, yes, so much worse.
Mhm.
The moment
Like
already
oof.
was so horrific to me, and it's just shocking. And her reaction was honest, because sometimes you're just so freaked out you don't know what to do. Plus, she has no control. She couldn't, even if she could do something, what is
Mm-mm.
she going to do, and who's going to believe her, and just all of that. So, and it just shows you just how awful this life is, and just being a woman, how hard it is, because this happens to people even outside of this world. So it's just crazy. And also, like, when her father comes home, and just the way when she's walking, and the way the men are all looking at her, it just freaked me out. And I'm like, no.
And she even
So,
like she talks about like after like her experience with like her dentist, she talks about how that was the first time she like had a nightmare about her husband or something. And like that
yeah,
was like a change from her like excited kind of about maybe having a husband.
yeah,
Um that which is like that's like you get you get your period and then like the next day you get assaulted.
right.
Ugh.
Well, I think because also they probably build it up to these girls to be a certain way. And
Mhm.
so they're excited about it, because they're talking about, oh, this is, you know, closer to God and, just everything else that it represents, all the good things. But then all of a sudden it comes flooding in as to all the bad things that come along with that, or you have expectations, but really it's the reality of things that are coming your way. And she's like, oh, shoot, I can't
Mm-hmm.
believe this. So it's crazy. Should we dig into
When she gets,
Daisy?
yeah, that's Daisy.
Because Daisy's storyline hits because we actually see what she loses. And I think for me, that was why everything kind of came together. I loved seeing her life in Canada. I thought that was just I don't know. It got me excited. What did you think about any of that?
So I figured that she was going to be a spy in some way. I just didn't know how she was going to get there, and I did not think that that backstory was going to be as tragic as it was. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be like, oh, she and June are like good friends, or she works for June, or whatever. And I was like pretty excited for that. But then no, we learned that she's got a pretty normal life, and her parents, who are Melanie and Neil, have kept this like huge thing from her, which
Yeah.
then begs the question, who are her real parents? But I also feel bad for Daisy because like she's being thrown into this thing that I don't think she fully understands. She's also a kid herself, and I feel like maybe that Mayday's taken advantage of her tragedy a little bit. Maybe we'll see where like she takes some time and she gets like I don't know, like a little bit training or something, and then it's not so abrupt. Um, and then thinking about her, what was going through her mind during like the chainsaw scene, how she probably like, I mean, we saw how she reacted, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
how like barbaric, and it's also just unnecessarily cruel. Like I know what he wasn't a good guy. I'm not saying he didn't deserve something, but I like I said earlier, there are more humane ways to do this
Yeah.
if that's what you
Yeah.
feel like you have to do. And I felt bad for her when they were like on the bus and they got attacked because that's kind of how her parents died, and then like she's stoned out of her mind having to process like her parents have been killed, the guy that talked to her isn't really a good guy, there's a blonde lady who you don't know but she claims to know your parent. It's just like that's so much, and you're like under 18 probably. Can't imagine as like as like my age handling that.
I'm only laughing because it's so funny that they made her high and that she says it, right? She's like, I can't think straight. I'm high right now. And I thought that could be so realistic, right? That could just be what it is. I was surprised at her life, how they showed it, but I loved it. I
Hmm.
loved seeing her with her boyfriend on that playground, of
That
course,
spinny
being,
thing.
yeah, the being, of course, I think it's reflective of them being young
Hmm.
people and how carefree life is. And, her talking about them being together and and smoking pot and it just felt, it was interesting though, because I feel that like that's can be representative of what a young person's life is, but it's kind of interesting because this is Canada, but they're not that far off, from what's happening. So I just thought it was interesting to see all that because it felt so normal. It felt so
Hmm.
like every day, and I didn't know that Canada would be like that in this world. So
Hmm.
it was interesting to see that, and we even see the. Is it the Pearl Girls that come into the
Hmm.
store? Yeah, so I
Yeah, they
thought
give
that,
them honey.
whoa, yeah, they're so close. I mean, they're just like how we have different people coming to your door, offering literature or whatever else it might be. It just feels so realistic, which is again so scary. And I'll probably keep saying that throughout as we watch all of this and talk about it because I think that's what it is. And I think that's what it's trying to tell us. It's like open your eyes, anything can happen. So just be aware.
I also think too it's kind of like it's like indicative of how like young people truly don't pay attention to stuff until it um, like for the most part like affects them. Like I know when I was a teenager, I didn't really care about politics. I didn't pay
Right.
attention to it.
Right.
And I feel like it's happening in her small town, like her like they walk like we see her walk into her parents' store and there's a Pearl girl
Mm-hmm.
and she has no like she doesn't like I don't know, like I just thought it was like insane that they're like it's still happening in her town and she's off doing a bunch of normal
Staging.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was good and stuff, but Oh, just like the like the contrast between her and Agnes is just like insane.
It is. And I think that's why it's so shocking. And I think that's why, for me, I loved it because in episode one, we see one life. In episode two, we see them starting to merge. And then three, we see the complete opposite. And then it all comes together. And then, of course, we see Daisy's role in it, and who she is, and what she's lost, and also her identity is different than what she even thinks it is, because it's not just that her parents are dead, it's what she learns about that. But I do want to say, you had mentioned earlier about being on the bus, and on the bus we see her kind of kick into gear, and we see that she is strong, and she's can be resourceful, and she's calm like under pressure, because
Hmm.
everybody else is freaking out, and she's like looking at the windows, checking here, checking there. And then they're like, okay, we got to get everybody out. So you can tell that she knows more than the other girls know. So I thought that that was it just shows how strong and independent she is, which I thought was really cool.
She's like a little more like prepared for things,
Yeah.
which makes me think that maybe they did give her like a little bit of training or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, and when you had said that maybe you felt that maybe she was taken a little bit advantage of by Mayday, I agree, because she is underage as far as we can tell. And I thought, oh, to put someone in that position is pretty, I don't know, scary. I mean, she doesn't have her parents. Would parents allow you to do that? Probably
probably
not,
not.
right? So they got to find people who don't have parents. But I don't know. That's a fine line. So yeah, putting someone in that position, they probably are taking advantage of her. Absolutely. But that bus scene kind of transitions to where things really shifted, and where we see June at the store. And I thought at first, I thought they were just going to show June, like, oh, that's all. That's all I thought that we were getting.
Hmm.
But then when we see her again, and I'm like, oh, she's actually part of this somehow. I mean, again, I still don't know how much she will be a part of this, but I loved. For me, I'm a June fan, so I don't know if I thought she'd be in here, but something in me was excited to see her in here, because I love stories that concentrate on characters and knowing them for a time and their history. So it just means a lot to see that she's still doing what she needs to do. With June back in the picture, we also see that Guardian storyline, which starts to unfold, which I didn't know. And I was like, that was such a good moment, because had no idea. So I thought that that was a really cool moment to see. And it made everything bigger than I expected. So did you feel that turning point too,
I did. So I think I'd mentioned earlier that I sort of assumed that
Daisy?
Daisy was going to be a
Yeah.
spy, like from the beginning. So that wasn't a reveal, but like when she spoke to the Guardian, I was like, she's got an ally. I was excited because I feel like she's not alone out there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it it just makes me worried for what's coming a little bit, because I know people are going to die, and
Yeah.
like how many of the plums will get caught up in this. But it just made me just kind of realize that like June's not gonna stop until she saves her daughter
Yeah.
and the world, like, or
Yeah.
like in the country and stuff, but like her daughter first. They don't have any handmaids anymore. Like whenever, at least I think they're like done. Like the handmaids don't exist anymore, right? I
Guess.
think because
Yeah.
whenever Agnes has her dollhouse, and she has like little like dolls for each of like the roles, and there's
Hmm.
not a handmade one.
Yeah.
um Real quick, I kind of not talking about anything that we're talking about right now. So in the beginning of episode one, it's Daisy talking, and she sounds kind of weird. Did you notice that when she's
No.
talking about? So she's describing like the scene, and she's saying, "I don't know the time because we weren't allowed to read, we couldn't have calendars, but there are other ways to like track time." And then it, like the audio like the whole time is sounding weird, but it sounds like there's a bit of an echo, and it sounds like it's like a far away like thing. So I'm wondering if she's talking into like a recorder or something.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what like it sounded like a little bit,
Yeah.
but I don't
I
know if you
didn't
know.
notice it. No, I didn't notice it, but you're probably right to pick up
Maybe
on that. Yeah.
because I listened to it twice. I was like, oh, like it could just be like the audio sounds weird or something. But then like I watched it again and I heard it again.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, but that would be cool though. I was just gonna bring up how Daisy's using like a recorder on listen to music, and then
Yeah.
like she's like also like what it's like radio, I think. So maybe she's talking into the radio.
I wonder what time frame this is, though. Do we know?
I looked it up earlier, and I'm pretty sure it's like 4 years after the
Well, yeah,
rebellion.
four, but I mean, do we know what like year it is by
Oh,
chance?
2029, I think. So it says the.
Oh, so it's somewhat in our time range.
Hmm. Yeah, because the 2019 novel takes
Right.
15 years later, and then that
But it's really only 4 years later. Okay.
it's 4 years after the Handmaid's Tale,
And
like
what year was it
finale.
when the Handmaid's Tale ended then? What year was it
Twen-
supposed to be?
oh, I think it's 2025. Yes, 2025. So 2029.
Yeah, it's about the same timeline as us then. I had no idea. I did not know it was the same timeline. Did you?
I think so.
Okay. Sorry, we went on a
Oh,
goose chase, but the only reason I was wondering when this was, and I guess it is the same timeline as we are currently. If Handmaid's Tale ended 2024, 2025, and this is a 4 year time jump rather than the 15-year time jump that is in the book, 2028, 29. The only reason I was wondering, because this Walkman was
yeah.
something people had, what, in the 90s, I guess. So I just find it interesting that this is what she has
Her
in
boyfriend
this
gave it to
current
her
day.
though, like for
I
her
know.
birthday. Oh,
Yes, yes, I know why she has it, but I mean, oh, that they're using it, because you don't see people using that right now, right? That's not what they would use their phones or whatever else it is. So I love that they're using it. So made me think for a moment that it was back a little bit in time, but it's not. It's our current time frame. So yeah, I love that she has that with her to either record information and or listen to music. All
because
right.
music's so important.
Oh my God, so important. I want to talk about the other characters and what you thought. Because outside of Agnes and Daisy, I kept noticing how other figures like the ants control everything in smaller ways. So, did any of those authority figures stand out to you?
Couple. Thought the ants were interesting. At one point, a scene that stuck out to me was they were like, I don't know if they were eating dinner or if they were doing like a bunch of busy work. But then Vidala was talking badly about the like Econo wives, as if like, ants are up here and the Econo wives are down here. And I thought it was strange that even like I mean that happens anywhere. If you can put a person like below you to like elevate yourself to make yourself
Yeah.
feel better, that's gonna happen probably. I just thought it was very strange because like that's not how a godly woman should talk.
Yeah.
Like you'd wash out like a pearl's mouth if they were talking like that. But then I was taking a look at a lot of the ants, and they're not that old. Like they're so like, and if we've been
They
in this
look
thing for,
young.
they look young.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like they got to them whenever they were probably in their like 20s, maybe like early 20s, and it's like like a survival thing. I'm not condoning any of it, but it's at least you can kind of understand that like she's just trying to survive in a system that is working completely against her and is not helping them in any way. But I thought it was like like there's a little bit of tea going around.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, even the girls, how they react to one another, how they're like, "Oh, get her before she gets you." Uh, how she tells Agnes that about Daisy,
mhm.
basically. And I'm like, "Wow, you guys are so vindictive or
uh,
not nice to one another." It's I don't know. You'd think they'd be more welcoming, but it's like they're just ready to like, I don't know,
I feel like
pounce on somebody.
it's just like the mindset, which is just how like it's just how like they're like how this country works. It's easier, for them to direct their frustration towards people that are seen as below you than to actually question it and like anyone in power. And like these girls don't have any real power right now, and they probably will never really have any real
Yeah,
power. Um, the system, it kind of like it thrives on that kind of like division of keeping everyone focused on each other instead of who's really responsible. But it made me sad because like they need friends, and I feel
I
like the
know.
system discourages their friends, and it makes me so sad. Like you need your girl, like your girl group. And then I want to talk about like the she's like the most like famous aunt of all, like Aunt Lydia. What is I don't know. I just want her to wake up and join the resistance, and because it drives me bonkers how she understands that there's this cruelty like um in like the Gilead like whatever, and she doesn't try to do anything about it. And I know she's scared, but I just want her to join the resistance. But maybe she is. We don't know because maybe
I
like the
was,
pearls are
yeah, I was going to say, I have a feeling Aunt Lydia is going to be different
something
in
different.
this.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Try not to give any spoilers, but
Oh,
that's my thought on, my, yeah, I don't want to say too much.
yeah.
Because Aunt Lydia in The Handmaid's Tale, oh man, did I despise her until the very end. I think she truly believes in what she believes. She's not just doing it to be mean, but she's done
Mm-mm.
some horrible things. And so she has to be accountable for the things that she does, but then she also has guilt. And so I think she's turning a leaf is what I believe. So it'll be interesting to see when we see that with her here, because I feel like we haven't seen that much of her. I thought we were going to see a little more of her in the first 3 episodes, and we haven't yet. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that part of her.
Even though I like it's only been like a year since the end of like The Handmaid's Tale, I definitely thought she died for a second.
Uh,
And I was like, oh, well, and then they start the scene out and she has this big ass statue. I'm like, oh, she definitely died. And then she appears like 5 minutes later. I'm like, oh no.
and that statue was not a nice looking statue. I'm like, if
Mm-mm.
that was my statue, I would not like it. I'd be like, can you lighten up around the cheeks or this? I don't
Yeah.
know. It almost looked like a man to me.
Hmm.
It
Well,
wasn't very, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but still.
No, I just meant like they probably don't really like it's probably weird that she has a statue and she's a woman.
Yeah, that's true too.
They probably like just make her look a little more manly. I like the Marthas. Like I really like the relationship that Agnes has with Rosa. I thought that they were very sweet to each other, and I hope that Rosa does really love Agnes, but it might be hard. Anyway, I just think that it might be the only like truly loving relationship that Agnes really has, because like her new stepmom's a jerk face. The her old stepmom's gone, which is sad, but um I know that in The Handmaid's Tale, the Marthas were like very important to the resistance, so I wonder if we'll see a little bit of that this season
Right.
with
Yeah.
them doing like whatever. I definitely had forgotten that their old Mrs. Mackenzie had died. Because I know we did not. She was kind of a jerk in like The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how, from Agnes's like point of view, how she like she kind of loved her. Like I feel like the old Mrs. Mackenzie was really like, and like the scenes that we see, she's very like she's just really nice to Agnes, and she's like she's like a loving mom.
Yeah.
So like
Mm.
it changes how we see her. And then her new mom, her name's Paula. She comes across extremely harsh and really cold. And I have a feeling though that we're gonna get a little more of her backstory. Like she might be like a Serena Joy or something,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is, I mean, she's still not a good person, but at least we understand like a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and I really don't want to. I hope we don't get to see like any of the commanders. I don't really want to see them. Keep the men away,
Well, we did
unless.
get, okay, wait, you had said econo wives, and I
Mhm.
hadn't heard that term. Is that who's the econo
No,
wives?
so an yeah, so an Akana wife is they're married to like a low-ranking man, like in Gilead. They don't have like like they have a different like outfit, like how everyone else has like an outfit, but theirs is striped. They're mostly like religious, and they don't really and they're compliant, and they may have kids and they may not have kids, but they're just not like a Martha or like a. And we did meet one, and I think in season like 2 or 3 of The Handmaid's Tale. Um, Whenever they were going into like the Jezebels, one of the like truck drivers was like an Econo like husband or
Uh,
whatever, and like his wife, they like I want to say like June like hid with them or something, or someone did for like a little while.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, but so they're just kind of like not like a they don't have like a real role, but they have like jobs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or the wives don't, but like the men do.
Husbands
They
do.
probably
Yeah.
would work on like a grocery store or something like that, maybe.
Okay. So I have another question for you.
Hmm.
The house that they all went to,
Hmm.
was that a friend of theirs that had become a wife? Okay.
Yeah, so she looked a little bit older, so I don't know, maybe like she's been like married for a little. Well,
She did, but she still looked pretty young.
she looked very young. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so when they went there, it was interesting because the reason I bring that up because you had said, "Oh, I hope it doesn't concentrate on any of the men," and they did bring up that husband.
Hmm.
Um, he was just
Just gross.
whatever. Yeah, he's all um, when he talks about Canada and how they're just jealous because we have good water and we have this and we have that and they don't have it. And I was almost for a moment afraid that Daisy was going
Mm.
to say something to, to bring it back. But then she ends up saying something. Sometimes the things that she says, I mean, she's so good at her
Hmm.
cover because I think she's going to say the wrong thing and she says the perfect thing. Like, oh, she's not going to let up. She's going to act like she's assimilating into everything that they're doing. I'm like, you are good, Daisy. I'm just enjoying her character a lot.
But because he made a comment about like being in Canada, I think people think that he knows who she is, because
Mm,
that's a very weird comment to make when they're not really talking about Canada.
yeah.
Maybe, or I mean, they were, but I feel like maybe like she looks like an old handmaid or something. I don't know.
Mm,
Interesting though.
yeah. Uh, I think I wanted to say uh, is that we had talked about the girls chanting
Hmm.
when the guy's hand was getting off, but they were also chanting when Daisy had that muzzle mask on, and they're all like, dirty girl, dirty girl, dirty girl. I mean, they were so in her face. And it just, the moments that we see that are just so hard to watch. And just the ants enforcing behavior through shame. It's just all of that. It's just
Hmm.
seeing each piece of that and how it builds up and how they treat each other. It's just, I think that, but that makes it all the more gripping because you can't, because in my stomach is turning and it makes me so angry. And that's how it was in The Handmaids too, when I would watch
Hmm.
that. And that's what this show is doing. It's like gets me. And I think that's what's the draw because you're like, it's so unjust and so hard to watch. And I think that's why I'm so glad that June herself is back in it because she does all the things that you really want people to do. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, and I see that Daisy can be that in this too.
Yeah,
So
they both are okay with living in the gray.
yeah, exactly. They do. Yes. All right. So I would love to talk about themes and style or anything worth mentioning here. So, of course, we see the colors. They're so vivid. Um, and we see the theme of control versus identity here and how much the feeling of the show is shaped by colors and music. I mean, we see the plum colors that are just gorgeous and the music choices, and it all adds this emotional layer that makes it feel more intense than just what's happening in the plot. So, what did you think? What struck you in regards to the theme, the colors, the music?
I thought it was interesting how like the colors of the outfit kind of will help you keep track of like the girl's progression from childhood to adulthood, because they start out and and it will show you exactly where she is in like the system of Gilead, and like how close she is to being like assigned a role. pink, like you like I think of them, but whenever I think of the color pink, I immediately will think of like a little girl.
Yeah.
And it's meant to represent like a pre-pubescent like child and like your innocent and childhood and like your and it's like their childhood before they're brought into like this, like the expectations of Gilead and being like a woman all of a sudden. And like the plum and purple, it's just so pretty and you think like royalty, that's what we're supposed to think when you think of purple.
Yeah.
But it's like they're like the girls are now approaching like the puberty stage, and it's this transitional stage where they're being prepared and washed and shaped for like the future roles. And when you look at it like that, that's just creepy and I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
And then they don't really become green, but they get a green pin, which is like a subtle way to show that they've reached puberty. And now they're prepped for a whole bunch of different things where they're gonna get ready for marriage and assigned probably like a husband at some point. And then the one that was kind of like new for, I mean, like the green was new, but I don't remember ever there being like a Pearl Girl in like the Handmaid's Tale.
Hmm.
Um, but they're kind of like they're the people who are like outsiders. They're not from like anywhere in Gilead maybe, and they're like runaways or something. So they're assigned this white to make them look very soft and pure, and then when they go on these like recruiting trips, they're the ones that are associated with like the country of Gilead or whatever it is, whatever. And it's like the complete opposite of what it actually is. It's very like hard and harsh and red and like bloody and all kinds of other stuff. But it gives the world this false, like, I don't know, it's like a narrative that's just not true about what it is. And the colors I thought was just really like interesting. One of the themes that I think that really like stuck out to me was just like the loss of innocence, and it happens in like two different ways. Like we see like one of the main characters in Daisy, who loses her parents tragically and her life
Yeah.
is forever changed. And she loses her sense of safety and any kind of normalcy, and that's like a loss of innocence. And then like Agnes, she gets her first period, and that's immediately she's projected into this like now she's got all this like stuff to check off, and
Yeah.
she has like for her to get her period, it's like a deeper consequence than like anyone else.
Yeah.
Um, and like she's gonna no longer be a girl; she's now a woman. Yeah, and then the other one that I thought was just like the power and hierarchy that's in like just like in this world. You see like the structure very clearly through the aunts, the wives, the Marthas, the Econo wives, and now everyone is controlled in like a different way, but they're all being controlled. And it's not really hard to see how this happened, which is sad and scary.
Yeah. 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 There's such that loss of innocence happening, and you just feel it in the story. But I feel like the music and the visuals just added so much to that. And I do have to bring up that the music, it's just not an accident. They, all the songs that touched me, that were pivotal to me, that got me, they all have dreaming in the title. I didn't even catch that till after I was, compiling the notes in my head, um, because it relates to like longing or escape, which is interesting. And so Blondie was the very first one, Dreaming, which absolutely love uh, that song. I have a Blondie t-shirt. I mean, that's how much I'm like, yeah, Blondie. If people don't know who she is, she's go check her out. But she has so many amazing songs. But one of them is Dreaming. And then in episode, I think it was episode 3 or was it episode 2? Now I don't remember, but I remember it opening and the first piano notes, or I think it was a piano. I'm like, oh my God, it's California Dreaming by the Mamas and the Papas. I mean, that's not who was singing the song, but that's who originated the song. That is one of my favorite songs like ever. Like, I just love that song. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray, and just the music and everything. It was when they were wearing white and collecting the honey. It might have been episode 2. Now I can't even remember if it was 2 or 3, but they were showing that. I think it was
Hmm.
3.
I think it's
That was
three.
3. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then also in between there, we also hear the Cranberries, their song Dreams. And I think it's also in the trailer. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these songs are so pivotal. I love the music person that's in charge of finding these songs and putting them in here, because they're just they just hit for me. It just adds so much, the music does, to me. So I just love that. Um, is there anything you want to say about the music, or you
Mm-mm.
okay?
No, I'm just
Um,
enjoying it.
yeah, yeah, I'm just loving it. There's so many other songs too, like Going to the Chapel, and just other music too that
hmm
was great that's in here.
I will
Um,
say, it's probably gonna ruin like a lot of the songs because like now I'm
I
not gonna be
know,
able to hear Going to the Chapel and not associate it with
I
The Handmaid's Tale.
know, I know. But I'm sorry, I had a flashback from Handmaid's Tale. Wasn't it Taylor Swift's song with June? Like, do it like when all the wives are walking down the street, and then they're like, it's like they're gonna kill all the commanders or whatever it is. Wasn't that it?
It was. What song did they
Was a
use
Taylor
though?
Swift song. Can't think of which one at the moment. It was oh, I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, that,
What
that's
song
what
is
I
it?
thought.
What is it?
It's Look What You Made Me Do.
Yes,
It's such a
yes.
good song.
It is. It's such a good song. So that's what, right now, as we're talking about that, that's what that reminds me of.
Mhm.
But okay, I wanted to bring up a few things from the timeline just so people are aware and how the relationships are in this. So if you don't want to hear this, jump up 1 minute. All right, here we go. So in the book, it's 15 years. Here, it's 4 years time jump. And Agnes is Hannah, June's daughter. They're the daughter that got taken from them. Okay. And then June had another child with Nick, and that was Nicole. In the book, that's Daisy, but in the series, it is not. So Daisy is not June's daughter in the series. She's just her um,
Employee.
surrogate. Well, kind of like a surrogate daughter, because she's taking care of her and watching over her. But the reason they did that was because of the timeline, because Daisy and Agnes would not be so close in age. And in the book, I think it's a narration, and there can be parallel times happening, even though they're different points in time. So I think that they wanted, for us to view a series, they wanted to see them interact here. So that's why they have made it 4 years, and why they've merged these storylines together. So, what is interesting is that Daisy does look like June,
hmm
and she acts like June. So you would think this is her daughter. So when I was watching it, I'm like, well, that looks like she would be Hannah, and she looks like she would be Nicole. So, but they wanted her to look like her because she just has the same spirit that June has, which I think we can see it. So I think that's kind of cool. All right, what stuck with you emotionally in these first 3 episodes?
I think it was Daisy losing her parents at like such a young age just like stuck with me because like you have to grow up like pretty quickly whenever your parent or whenever like you lose a parent, but now she has to grow up like even quicker, and there's like like an added layer of having to now infiltrate like everyone, like the everyone in Gilead. She has to like be like you know like aware. It just seems so stressful.
Yeah, it is. So, what stuck with me emotionally, I have to tell you, it really scared me when Daisy that narration, when they are doing about the bees and what she learned when she was in school, and
hmm
learning about power and how it sneaks up on you, and how people just basically don't take it seriously. And then it's not a change overnight, it happens subtly. And that people didn't want women to vote or have power, or for gay people to exist, and just her voiceover with that, I had like chills when she was talking. It was so, and so that really hit me because it just felt just way too close to home, and I
Hmm.
just didn't like it. So I thought that is what really hit me. All right, so what are you most curious to see in this season?
Really want to see Agnes and what starts to push her to question things. Because and then I feel like I'm also very curious how Daisy's going to handle being pulled into this, and I definitely want to know what's going on with Aunt Lydia. I think she's up to something. I don't know what. I hope it's for good, but I think she's playing like a bigger game.
Yeah.
But I think that every time though, when she ends up just disappointing me, like I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And I'm very curious how Agnes is going to feel about her mom because I don't think they left things on a very good note the last time they saw each other. So I'm curious just to see all of that.
Yeah, I am curious to see Agnes's change because I know she's going to. I
Hmm.
know that things are going to change for her. I can't wait to see what the extremes Daisy needs to go through to get things accomplished. I know we know she's going to be in danger. What's that going to look like? And just to see how June can support or help orchestrate all of that. So, yeah, so I'm excited to see all of that. All right. Well, I think we can get back to our question of the day. So, what's something from your younger days that instantly takes you back?
So there's this restaurant in Bell Vernon where I grew up called Eaton Park, and it's not like they're like all over, but they're mostly in Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. And I don't know, just going back to that one specifically, because there's one down here that we go to all the time, and it's still good and it still reminds me of my childhood. But going back to the Bell Vernon one, it instantly just like brings me back. And like, 'cause we'd go there after like middle school dances, high school dances. Coming home from college, all my friends and I would go meet there because it was cheap food that was pretty decent. They have really good ranch if you like ranch. And like, we could just like, and where it was in town was like my friends that were in Rostraver could come over, and where I was in Belver, like we all just kind of, it was just really nice. It was like halfway for like everybody. So yeah, when I go back home, which isn't very often, we should, we'll have to make a trip back there and go eat there. But like it was like the happening place. Like you'd like on a Sunday or like the weekend, you couldn't get in. It would take an hour. And I remember like there was one in Squirrel Hill where I used to live, so we used to be like, oh my gosh, like are we gonna have to like put our names in? And you walk in and there's like
Yeah.
nobody, and we were like, oh, so it's not the most happening spot in town.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Only in Bell Vernon, I guess. Um, so yeah, that was like as soon as like you asked that, I was like, I have my answer immediately.
I love that. I
Mm.
love that. Okay, for me, two things, and they were both in this series, and one is my skateboard. So when I saw her skateboarding, I had a skateboard. It was my most favorite gift that I got from my brother. Gave it to me, and it was such a cool thing, and I loved it. So when I see people like that, when I see her, I'm thinking, oh, youth. It feels so free and fun. It was such a magical time in my life. And it was just, I mean, just being free. You're free when you're young and with your friends. So, but also music has always my whole life been so instrumental. I was that person listening to a radio, having a tape recorder, just and having the things that she does, and just listening to vinyls, and just my whole life, music has meant so much. And the music that has been in here, that's why it touched me so much, because these songs are part of me, and so when they play, it just instantly takes me back to that time. So that's what brings me back.
It's really funny that you said music because I hadn't even like considered that, which is dumb because music's like a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, like I can hear a song from like, and I'm my friends and I would go out and we would like go to the clubs and go dancing. We're
Yeah.
way too old for that now. But like you
Love it.
play one song and I'm immediately like back at this club in Pittsburgh with all my friends, just like
Yeah.
dancing and having a good time.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And I love that when people can hear songs and it makes them feel a certain way. So I love that, Sam. Okay, how about you, friends out there? What is something from your younger days that instantly takes you back? Tell us. Leave it comment in the comments wherever you're listening or watching us because we would love to know. You can even go to screensandfocus.com, get to our social media, click on it, and give us your answer on your favorite social media platform. Or you want to call us and tell us because we would love that. Call us at 669-223-8542. All right. Or you can just tell us anything about this episode. Maybe we got something wrong. Maybe you want to add something to it. We want to know. Let us know. All right. So we do have TV and movie recommendations for you. So, Sam, share with me what you're watching.
So I've been watching on Netflix. It's Trust Me, The False Prophet, and it's about these two people who infiltrate a cult. Well, it's a Latter-day Saint like religion, but it is a cult. And how they get people out, and it's really interesting. It's 4 episodes. It takes twists and turns, and it's bonkers, which is like my
Is
favorite word, but like it's really good.
Is it like a documentary true or is
Hmm.
it oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I
So
wanted to
it's
know. Yeah.
it's like a 4 part. It's part of the Warren Jeffs like cult. It like
Okay.
he went to jail. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. So I've been watching that, and then I've been watching the Ultimate Baking Championship, which is on HBO, and that one has a twists and turns as well. And it's really just like a low key like thing to watch, and that's really good. Been watching Hacks on HBO. It's in its fifth, and I think it's the final season. That just started like on the 9th, so like on Thursday. And then The Boys is back for its fifth and final season as well, and that's on Prime. And then I watched one movie, and it's a documentary. It's called The Truth and Tragedy of Mariah Wilson, and it's on Netflix. She's a biker, like a cyclist who was
Oh,
killed
okay.
in
Oh,
2023, I think, like pretty recently, like 2022
wow.
maybe.
Okay.
And that's bonkers too. Um, just the world of biking is kind of crazy. Not that that's what killed her, but I just didn't realize like all that stuff. So that one was really good too.
Wow. I love you. You're my documentary queen of which ones to watch. And I love that. All right. Well, Outlander is back for its final season. And I was watching it later on Netflix, but because it's its final season, I broke down and bought a very short stars um, subscription because since it's its last season, I didn't want to see all the spoilers, right? Because it's
Hmm.
going to take like a long time. It takes like a year and a half to get to Netflix. And I'm like, I am not waiting a year and a half to hear the finals. So
Mm-mm.
I caught up last week and this week on the second half of Outlander because the season 7 was in 2 parts. So I watched that and I just started the last season and it is dropped weekly, but I'm a little bit behind, but not too far. It's, I've mentioned this already, and I think, Sam, you know this about me too, that I love history of
Hmm.
characters and to know these characters all 8 seasons and to see everything that they've gone through. And this show is about jumping in time. So
Hmm.
they are characters that go from 1900 to 1700, going through a rock and just love story and fighting and wars and just, you know, being a doctor and living in that world. So really, you're really going through a history with these people. So I'm just loving Outlander. Now, Imperfect Women, I've been watching on Apple TV Plus, and I'm so hooked. I'm like, what's the next episode? I cannot wait for the next episode. But I have been watching this. I have mentioned it before, but I just wanted to say that's one of my ongoing ones that I'm loving. I am watching Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2. It's good this season, but it's not. I thought season 1 was even better.
Hmm.
So I'm watching it. So that's what I have to say about that. The Boys, I've only seen part of episode 1. How many episodes are out, Sam? Do
Two.
you 2?
Hmm.
Okay. Are you liking this season?
I am. I think, yeah, I was talking with my husband about it because not that I didn't enjoy like the one before, like what, season 4, but I think it was during the election while everything was going down and it just
Yeah.
felt like too much.
Yeah.
And so, but this is like, it's not like any lighter, but I feel like we're just used to it now.
Yeah.
No, but I think it doesn't. I am enjoying it. I will say
Okay.
that.
The reason I ask you is The Boys is kind of for me sort of a love-hate relationship because at
Hmm.
times I really don't like it. I hate it for certain reasons, but then I keep watching it. So I'm like, I find myself watching it, even though it's not, yeah, it's just some of the things just too extreme for me at times, and I just can't take it. I'm like, I cannot take this. It's driving me nuts, but
Hmm.
I keep watching it. So there I am. Breaking Bad, my husband has never watched it. So we're taking our time and he gets to watch it and I'm rewatching it. So we just watched some episodes last night. So it's fun. It was making me laugh. I'm like, I don't remember when I watched Breaking Bad the first time. I didn't realize that it made me laugh. Like there were funny times. Like I'm seeing Better Call Saul now and I
Hmm.
see him in a different light with who he has become and his series and everything. But like this was back when it was just Breaking Bad, and to see him here, it's very interesting. So I'm watching that. And I started watching a movie this morning called Thrash on Netflix. And it's one of those ones where there's a hurricane and the sharks, the hurricane comes to land, and of course the sharks are swimming around. So it feels like roll your eyes, like this is crazy. But at the same time, first half of it, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Who's the shark going to get? And why is the shark getting people? And why are these people doing this? And drive your car and get to the top. And so it's a thriller. And the first half has been fun. And it stars Phoebe, what's her last name? Denver. Do you know her last
Hmm.
name?
I think
Okay.
that's it.
She's from Bridgerton
Hmm.
and she is in this. So,
It's on
anyway,
my list.
yeah. So the first half, I'm in it, and I do want to see the next. So the rest of it. So I'll report on that later. All right.
I feel like
Well,
it's
go
one of
ahead.
those movies where like you just need to turn your brain off for like a
Yes.
minute and just
Yes.
accept what's on the screen. It's kind of like
Out.
there was that movie that came out like in 2020 with Kaya Scladero and someone else with like alligators.
Oh,
And it was like a similar thing. Like there was like
yeah.
a massive hurricane and it like it flooded like the swamps and then there were gators everywhere. And
Yes.
like it was really good.
I
I
don't know
was
if I watched it, but I know about it. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
highly recommend. It was one of those things where it was like really unrealistic because like,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
just turn your brain off and just
Right.
just enjoy it, man.
That's how this has been so far. And it hasn't been like, of course, right. You have to turn off your brain, but yeah, some pieces, but it's been okay. Like, it's not that far fetched. It's not like
Hmm.
Sharknado or something like that. It's just a little bit, a tiny bit more realistic, I guess. I don't know, as it goes. So, anyway, well, that's our TV and movie recommendations. It's a wrap up on Testaments 1 through 3. Come back. Sam and I will be covering them weekly. So please come back and join us. Sam, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me as always.
I love talking with you. It's always so much fun. It's just
Same.
us chit chatting about what's on TV. So, all right, friends out there, thank you for tuning in. We are so grateful you tuned in. We hope we gave you some insight, a chuckle, some thoughts. Remember to follow Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com, and please share this podcast with a friend. That would mean so much. Keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.